Hey VC, Happy New Year. Before I forget, I've been getting requests to tell you folks the beverage I'm quaffing. At the moment I'm having a chocolate oatmeal porter by the Blue Pants Brewing Company in Madison, Alabama. It used to come in bottles. It's actually better in cans, a little more not fermentation, carbonation. Yeah, not for everybody. Not everybody likes chocolate in their beer, but cheers. I hope you all had a nice Christmas. Happy New Year. It's pretty low key over here. Big highlight for me was having Sam Bird here in the studio for 2 days. You're listening to a rough mix, some of what we did. Pretty excited about what we're up to, and yeah, I'm gonna do something with it. Vinyl, I don't know. We'll see. So I got some Christmas presents to show you. That's what you do around this time, you know. And I just have to show you this because I can't believe my wife gave this to me. This is an OP1 by Teenage Engineering, Swedish company. Some of you may know about this thing. When this first came out in 2011, I thought, you've got to be kidding me. Not cheap. It looks like one of those Casio things from the late 70s, early 80s. And obviously the design is based on that. But anyway, I kind of forgot about it. And then my nephew, Brian, the guy who built the studio, taught me how to use Pro Tools and reinvigorated my whole life in music, really. One day he was over and he was telling me like, oh, you know about this thing? I saw a band that was using it and it was just mind-blowing. And he pulled it up and showed me and I was like, oh, that thing? Then finally, I was watching Mixing with the Masters or something like that, and Chad Blake was being interviewed, and they asked him what new piece of gear he thought was really exciting, and he said, oh, the OP1 is the most amazing thing, and blah, blah, blah. He went on and on and on about it. So finally, I started to take a closer look, and there's lots of YouTube videos. This guy named Cuckoo in Oslo, his channel is called Cuckoo Music. His videos really are what turned me on to this thing. Now, okay, I'm going on and on and on about this, and I could just make a whole video about this thing because it's just so cool. So, yeah, it looks like a toy, but it's not. It's got some heft. This is an aluminum enclosure. These buttons are rated to like 10 million presses. These knobs are avionics grade. Will operate at, under minus 37 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's all these things. So you have a synthesizer, you have a drum machine, you have a tape recorder, you have a mastering ability with the tape recorder, you have a sampler, you have a microphone, you have a sequencer, there's an FM radio, and this beautiful OLED display is really, it's just awesome. Now, the really cool thing about this thing is that it's like an all-in-one digital audio workstation. But all of like the synth engines and the sequencers and everything is really creatively laid out, and it's almost like a video game. Now I'm a little too old to have been into video games, but they're very fun and creative. It forces you to be creative about what you're doing because it doesn't work like other things, Anyway, Liz, thank you so much. This is just so much fun, and I can sit by the fire and plug headphones in and make music, or traveling or whatever. It's just so cool. I can't wait to integrate it into my studio. And yeah, I think every kid should have one of these. At birth, everyone should be issued a synthesizer. Everyone needs a synthesizer. All right, I'll shut up about that. You're not here for that stuff. Here's a Christmas present from my in-laws who gave me the Bob Dylan, what was it? The Cutting Edge deluxe box set. Yeah. And well, they gave me this, the complete 1966 live recordings, 36 CDs, every known recording of that tour, which of course, is the whole Judas tour. First set is acoustic, solo acoustic, and then he came out with the band, where they were called the Hawks then, and he played electric, and people were booing and stomping their feet. I'm slowly making my way through this. I've had a lot of this on bootleg, but the sound on these blow away the bootlegs, even the audience recordings, because there are some audience recordings on here. Anyway, really, and again, this is where CD comes in handy. 36 CDs, a couple hundred LPs. No thanks. The second Royal Albert Hall concert has been released on double vinyl. I don't have it. What's the point? Anyway, thank you, Sienna, Steve. They don't watch. Liz doesn't watch. Sam doesn't watch. He informed me he doesn't watch my videos. They're too long. He said, I can't believe anybody watches my videos. And here I am showing CDs. But I mean, come on, this is cool. This is cool. If you're a Dylan head, that's... And, not super expensive. I think the Grateful Dead should take a lesson from Dylan here. Like, if this were the Dead, they'd charge $2,000 for it or something like that. Which is why I've given up buying any more Grateful Dead stuff. Happy New Year! Alright. Here's another Christmas present from my sister. Every year, this label, Ollie Vox, puts out these book Sacd Things. Asperian 21, Jordi Savall, the great viola da gambist. So this year's is Ramon Lull, and what is the subtitle here? Ramon Lull, 1232 to 1316, a time of conquest, dialogue, and disconsolation. Didn't really know much about Lull. This is medieval era music. I could go on and on and on about this. I love this label. The Sacds just sound glorious. It's from this concert in November of 2016, and the book has just these wonderful illustrations. Come on. Manuscript pages. What can I say? I grew up on classical music, but I'm a special fondness for early music. And Jordi Savall, they do such a great job. And I would like to have everything on the label. Have like 7 or 8 other books like these. They're great, fascinating, awesome. Thank you, Molly. Of course, doesn't watch. And Sacds, I tell you, who needs vinyl if things were on Sacd? All right, that's it for Christmas presents. I went to the record store a couple times. What can I say? I guess I'm going to show this because this is awesome. The Microcosm, Visionary Music of Continental Europe, 1970 to 1986. On Light in the Attic, 3 LPs in this slip case. This is kind of a follow-up or companion to the Eye in the Center comp they did a couple years ago. For me, this is not as revelatory as that was, because at the time, New Age music I had dismissed, and so a lot of that stuff I was not familiar with and was really had my mind blown. Now this, they don't say New Age here because I think some of these folks objected to the term, but a little more familiar names here like Vangelis and Ashwa Temple and Popol Vuh, Ariel Kalma, Peter Michael Hamill, Deuter, but also some more obscure things. And it's just beautiful. I mean, it's just so well put together with a nice booklet, illustrations, etc. Excuse me. Had to save the hype sticker. And then 3 LPs in these beautiful jackets. And this one is on the limited edition indigo vinyl. Not that I care about it, it was just what they had at the store. Sublime. I mean, musically equal to the Iron Center comp. What is there to say? I really think, even if you're familiar with these artists, the comp is so well done that it's worth picking up. The microcosm. Put that all together later. Yeah, I got a bunch of comps. There was a sale at my local. I don't often have sales, so I kind of took advantage of that. And I had ordered this. Repress was done. This Space Echo, the mystery behind the cosmic sound of Cabo Verde, finally revealed on Analog Africa. This is fantastic. I mean, the whole story of this shipwreck containing all these electronic instruments showing up on this island on the west coast of Africa and giving it away to schools, and then, you know, later all this music comes out. It's great. Afropop. Latin tinged Afropop. I loved it so much. I was looking at their Bandcamp page. I want all the Analog Africa things, and I went back and got this Senegal 70. Sonic Gems and previously unreleased recordings from the 70s around Dakar. Kind of, this is a little more familiar to me, like the Orchestra Baobab. I think I have some other stuff on CD by them. But again, both of these are just really well done. Nice gatefolds, nice, beautifully illustrated color booklets. Nice, really nicely pressed, really nice sound. You know, in 2017, I'm getting more of those, more world music comps in general. You know, because they're just so enjoyable. Vinyl goals. Remember when Dr. Deadwax had vinyl goals? Remember when Dr. Deadwax made videos? Alright, I was talking to my friend at the record store about Light in the Attic and Analog Africa and stuff, and he was saying, oh, well, you know, he's really into all these, you know, Light in the Attic not only puts out stuff, but they distribute a lot of labels, and he was saying, are you familiar with this stuff? And I like this guy a lot, our tastes really align, and so I was like, well, he says this is good, I'm picking them up, and sure enough, they're really excellent. So the first thing here we have is, the name of the band, such as it is Finis Africae. This is a compilation on this Japanese label, EM, of recordings that came out in the late 80s, early 90s. So Finis Africae is basically this one guy, what's his name? Juan Alberto Arteque, who's Spanish, apparently. I don't know how to describe this, I really don't. It's like very electronic, but also African influenced, just world music influenced. Very, very spacey. Very spacey. It's not like groove oriented. I really enjoyed this so much. I got this, which is a reissue of their first album, I believe, Amazonia, from 1990, I think. Beautiful. Beautiful. There's one track from this on this comp, but that's okay. And I think there's another comp of this guy's music that they're going to try to get free. Fantastic, really. You know, I don't often take a lot of risks, and kind of the theme of this trip to Grammys was taking some risks. When they had their sale the other day, I finally picked this up. It's been shown a lot in the VC. The Holy Mountain soundtrack. I don't know why I hadn't put this together. I've never seen the movie. People inform me I really need to see the movie. But I hadn't put together the Don Cherry is on this, and some of his musicians from the time. It's from 1973. This is a reissue from 2014. Weird record, weird. Excellent though, and it kind of makes me want to see the movie. Although, I'm really not much of a cinephile when you get right down to it. If I'm going to spend time with something, it's going to be with music as opposed to watching a screen. Yeah, that's excellent. And I was rummaging around the soundtrack bins. I didn't even know this had been reissued on vinyl, so I had to get it. Naked Lunch, David Cronenberg's Naked Lunch. Ornette Coleman's also on this. I've had the CD since it came out. Saying I'm not a cinephile, that's a movie I saw in the theaters when it came out, and I've seen it a number of times. It's a really quite excellent movie. Not really a version of Naked Lunch, the book. That wouldn't be possible to do. More about William S. Burroughs writing the book and drug use and that sort of thing. And a fantastic score by Howard Shore and then London Philharmonic. Is it London Philharmonic? Yeah. But with Ornette Coleman, and also with isn't it Charlie Hayden and DiNardo? Anyway, it's a fantastic amalgamation of jazz and strings, and it's very evocative. And I hadn't listened to it in a long time. In fact, I haven't listened to this yet. I'm going to do that as soon as I finish this video. I love the new artwork too. The obi, it's nice. Nice. All right, before I go any further. I have a couple other used things and a couple other things to show, but I was watching Dr. Rhythm's most recent video. Hey guys, Mark and John, keep it up. I wish we should get together more than once a month. Cheers. And so I was watching the video, as you do, right? Let me turn this. And John was showing this on CD, and I'd never heard of Joe Henry. But my ears pricked up when he said, they played the track with Ornette Coleman. I had no idea. So apparently this came out in 2000. I'm out digging around. That very afternoon, I watched the video in the morning with my little feeble exercise routine. That afternoon, I'm digging around the Grayscape, and I see this. Joe Henry's Scar on DVD audio from 2003. Supposedly recorded to analog, and this is mastered from analog. I've never heard the CD, but this sounds freaking amazing. This had been sitting there for a while. I didn't know what it was. A score, and no one cares about DVD audio anymore, so it was cheap. And plus, they were having a sale. It was like $5, something stupid like that. So yeah, Joe Henry. Didn't know anything about him until, Dr. Rhythm Channel. I thought the cover was quite striking, but anyway, if he got Ornette Coleman to play, and plus Brian Blade and Brad Mehldau, a bunch of jazz guys are on this, but he's like a singer-songwriter guy out in North Carolina. Hard to put your finger on genre-wise. There's some sort of Americana things and some sort of ballads that I didn't love, but the more jazzy, almost experimental, not verse, solo, chorus, kind of, it's not straightforward songwriting, and the words certainly are not straightforward. I don't know. I was pretty blown away. So thanks, guys, at Dr. Rhythm. And if you don't watch the Dr. Rhythm channel, turn me off and go over there and subscribe. Excellent. DVD audio, SACDs. Remember the big fight? Remember that? I really think SACDs sound better, smoother. Anyway. Alright, a couple more things. Absolute Fusion. On Finders Keeper. This is a comp of this Catalonian band Fusion from the early 70s. This has been shown in the VC. Of course, that's a very striking cover. You don't forget that. This is pretty cool. Some of it was a little bit cheesy for me, but a lot of it was very, very 70s. Very less than a Canterbury thing. This kind of compares them to Egg. I hear more of an Italian prog thing happening here. It's a little more frenetic, and I don't know. it's a cool record, a really cool record. Glad to have it. It finally got this on sale because it wound up being really cheap. Didn't quite live up to the hype here. The Invisible Astro Healing Rhythm Quartet. I think the title is 2, their second album, On Trouble in Mind. You know, the lineup and the hype sticker and everything, I was kind of expecting it to be a little more out there, a little wilder. It's a little more, yeah, just a little more inside. So like African rhythms and some jazzy overtones. A bunch of guys out of Bakersfield, California, apparently. It was pretty cool. Now that I know what it is, I'm going to listen to it again and see, you know, try to listen to it on its own terms. All right. 20 minutes. Only a couple more things to show here. Haven't been digging. Did get this. Very cool. Obsolete format, although I can listen to it. It sounds fantastic. 24-bit, 196 kilohertz. Now, if it's really from analog, no wonder it sounds so good. Jeez. All right. So a couple of used things I found. Eddie Harris Excursions on Atlantic from, I think it's 1973. Now, Eddie Harris, he's a guy you see his records all the time. I think the Electrifying Eddie Harris is kind of his biggest selling record. I never really checked him out. I thought he could be on the cheesy side, and this kind of is, but there's some interesting players on here. Like Richard Davis plays this funky electric piano on a track. Some of it gets pretty out there. Double album. I posted it on Facebook and I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. Anyone, you know, any other Eddie Harris records I should check out? Because, you know, they're cheap and they're plentiful. So, yeah, I got some recommendations, and if anyone else would like to chime in below, please do. It's very 70s, you know, come on, you gotta love it. I just love it, that 70s stuff, what can I say? I was a child of the 70s. Alright, finally, one last thing. This is a 60s record. Box Tops. The Letter / Neon Rainbow on Bell. I'm not sure, I think it's 67 this is from. I'm not sure if this is an original or not. It looks pretty old. I've been looking for Box Tops records. You see them around. They sold a bajillion copies, but they're often beat. And I saw this, and it was on sale, and you know the jacket's pretty wrecked, but the vinyl looked like it was just dirty. And sure enough, I cleaned it up, and it sounded great. You know, it's like these pre-oil embargo records are kind of indestructible. You know, there are lots of surface marks, but this played great. And you know, the Box Tops, of course, this is Alex Chilton's band before Big Star, when he was basically a child, you know. But what a voice, man! Like for a teenager, soulful as hell. So yeah, The Letter is like probably their biggest hit. Everyone knows that song. It's a great version of Whiter Shade of Pale. Yeah. The Box Tops. All right. Thanks for hanging out with me, people. I hope you are all well in the new year, and that it will be a good year. I don't have really high hopes, honestly. If you thought 2016 was bad, I think we're only in for a lot worse. But hey, I'd love to be proven wrong. And in any case, cheers, friends. Take care. I'll see you soon.